the trading floor, but the pandemic has us at an undisclosed location, looking to get a good start in trading the market this morning. Saul Shaul is your host and mentor. Saul's been trading for 25 years or so. He is actively participating and scalping and trading the S&P 500 E-mini for his own account. He looks to do that on a daily basis. He has a strategy, a methodology that he has been working on for 25 years or so. That's why individuals come in here, come into his Zoom, and be part of this service on a daily basis because they want him, Saul, to provide them with key areas, prices in the S&P 500 E-mini that Saul deems to be special prices today, special areas today for this morning's trade, where Saul believes he can make money by trading around and in those zones. Everything is fluid based on price change, momentum change, based on how the market is behaving during the morning session. The morning session for us starts at 9:30. Right now it's 9:17 a.m. on Friday, February 5th, 2021. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing is to be taken as direct trading advice. You're trading between you and your broker at your own risk. If you're connecting to us in any other means but Zoom, you have the option of coming into Zoom directly and being part of this service in Zoom, where you can ask questions, interact, and become part of the family. Ben H has joined us today as part of the family, so if you haven't yet, step up and be part of the family. It's nominal. It's actually a sign of respect for what we do here on a daily basis and what we provide. Hey, Richard, welcome. Good morning. Hey, Brian K. Good morning and welcome. We do this on a daily basis. We're here on a daily basis as far as trading days. You know, there is a lot that goes on here, both publicly and privately. Publicly, as you hear my voice, and we'll be hearing Saul's voice. There is relationships that are had based on being part of the family. You also have the ability to have a intensive relationship with Saul, where you join the family, you get his levels on a daily basis, you interact with him as part of the family during the morning session as those key areas. Well, think about this. He's giving you a roadmap for the morning. That's a better roadmap than you get from standardized software, in our humble opinion. He is working you through these trades and areas based on his commentary. And he is here to answer questions based on the trade during the trading period, which is the morning session. If you're not done and banked your money for the morning session, let us know and we'll obviously look to work with you to help you bridge the gap between not making it as a trader and making it as a trader. And those are big words. If you like what we're doing here, tell your friends. Since trading is a zero-sum game, don't tell people you don't like, because for you to make money, you have to take money from somebody else. And that's the nature of the beast based on trading the market. We have a very nice group of people, in this service that are here on a daily basis that add to the relationship with Saul. Saul does field questions and he does repeat them as necessary, but he does feel like this is an opportunity to concentrate and make money this morning, and then Monday morning, Tuesday morning. So the dialogue is between you and him. I think that's very important for you to know, that there are a lot of chat rooms in different areas where you have the ability to communicate Is Sal on? Hey, Fred, is Sal on? I'm not sure. Hey, Frank, how are you? Hey, Fred, you can always ask questions of Sal, so if you have one, just post it. So anyway, so as we go through the morning session here, um, don't hesitate to ask questions. That's on a daily basis. If you're new, raise your hand. And I'll send you out the opportunity to be part of the family. Ben H has joined when we absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. Ah, you're waiting for the doctor. You know, we have appearances from time to time with the doctor of trading distress. He is actually hooking up his Elon Musk system that provides internet by satellite because he is on a walkabout in the Caribbean. And, you never know when he's going to show up. You know, he's become quite a fixture when it comes to helping people bridge the gap. And also, he prides himself in being a little bit of a novice psychological profiler when it comes to traders and trading. So we'll have to see. Again, if you want to become part of the family, raise your hand. I'll send you out the info. If you're part of the family, thank you. If you want to learn about Sol's Intensive, become part of the family and we'll look to have that conversation with you. If you need help setting up your platform or having a nice speed trading setup going, then join the family and we'll look to get you set up. And again, if you're coming in from the outside, join us on the inside in Zoom. Use pitiq.tv. That's pitiq.tv to join us here. We look forward to it. Hey, Richard, welcome. Good morning. Hey, Robert B. Again, if you know what to do this morning, set yourself up based on Sol's teachings. If you're learning how to set the levels, write the levels down that you've got and then compare them to the one that Sol's going to give you. Hey, Timothy. Good morning. Hey, Brian K. I'm not sure if I missed you earlier. Robert B. Can't believe it's already Friday. Can't believe it's Friday, February 5th. This year is already cranking. I think it's a better year already than 2020. Even though February 2020, we sort of just got an inkling what was over the horizon. It was like I don't know, a tsunami was coming, but we just didn't know it. I can remember telling people that that this thing coming out of China was just a hoax and not to worry about it, that it wouldn't be a problem. Boy, did they tear up the markets over it. Hey, Maureen, good morning. But I can remember saying it out loud and thinking like, this is ridiculous. And then next thing you know, it became the media event of the century. And they just, and I actually think it was a huge opportunity to make money. I hate to say it. There was people that made a ton of money in that period of time just by dislocating the markets and running on fear. I mean, it's just crazy. Hey, Dan, I have your sign up for you. I saved it for you, okay? Now, we had Ben H come in today, Dan, and I want to, if possible, if you could be part of that, that would be great. I just sent it out to you. Let me know if you got it. We like to have people join the family. Makes my heart warm. Hey, Glenn. And I guess more importantly, it makes Sal's heart warm. Hey, Blas. Blas, I think you're part of the family, no? Let me know back in chat, because I have you down, I think, as part of the family. Hey, Warren. Warren, your name comes at the bottom of the alphabetized list, which is really weird, but I miss you from time to time, so a quick shout out to you. Hey, Dan, I'll look to authorize you based on that in the background, which is important, so just let me know. Sud here, welcome. Good morning.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? All right. Good morning. Let's give you our levels for this morning as the market here continues to. We talked about was there a leak on the number, and it seemed like there was a little bit yesterday afternoon. If you're trading the last portion of the day, seemed to all of a sudden rally as it was dead all morning. As unemployment came out this morning, we'll talk about that. It came out right around 49. There were various people who had different number. The highest number I heard was 100. We talked about it yesterday. We're looking at 50. It came out 49, so we were kind of right. But the unemployment rate, which again is not really a big portion of what the unemployment number looks at least the traders, came in at a lot less. But like I said, that's very a fluid number based on a different variance that the market doesn't really care about. Let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 38.84. Now remember, we're up here. These are new all-time highs, so anything above these levels were created from maybe Fibonacci's or trend lines or stuff like that. So very unreliable as far as good technical levels. So trade them very lightly, keep your stops in very tightly, and we'll see what happens. Our pivot is 38.84, resistance on the upside at 89.96, 3,900. Believe it or not, we're at 3,900. 08 and then 15. Support below at 78. 71, 61, 53, and 44. Pivot 38.84, support at 78, 71, 61, 53, 44. Resistance on the upside at 89, 96, 3,900, 08, and 15. All right. So we are trading mini S&Ps here. We are looking to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market because we don't believe the markets go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we're looking for about 2 to 3 points on our trades with the same amount of stops. We pick our spots. We let the market kind of dictate what we're going to do. We have the price action opportunities that occur in addition to these levels that I gave out. We talked about them yesterday, a few opportunities that occurred intraday. And those opportunities also create different setups and opportunities for us to trade. So market is always we talked about how it could be very slow, just pre unemployment, and yesterday afternoon those hourly bars were just so they had more action overnight than you did during the day yesterday, and of course they pop it up right on the close, and not surprising, because they probably knew what was somebody knew what was gonna come out, but I didn't say that. I did not say that. Okay, that's not me. I know me, not me. I did not say that. Anyway, but that's what occurred, and we've come up here now. The number came out, as you can see, and really not too much action there in the S&Ps. Bonds hiccuped a little bit. They broke initially, came back, and kind of trading. Well, it's kind of where it's at after the number came out. So again, the number was a little less than kind of where it was expected, but the revision from last month was also weaker, and so that didn't help the situation much. So that's what's happening there with the unemployment, and again, we would like to say that unemployment keeps us busy all day, but hopefully, maybe that'll be the case. But historically, that has not been the case. But you never know. We'll see what happens. So we dip down to our blue band area there and rotated back up. We like I said, we have different price action opportunities. Price action depends on the volatility of the market and how the market sets up some price entry points. Some of them are a little bit more clear than others, but it gives us a lot more opportunity if you're a little aggressive there to trade the market. If you wanted to trade more, of course, we all want to trade more, but we also have to wait for the market to give us those opportunities. We're not here trying to create opportunities. We let the market kind of dictate what we're going to do. If you look at the chat box area, the levels have been printed in there so you can visually see them. Those are the same levels, obviously, that I just gave out. And so we'll see what happens. I'm going to have to leave this morning at top of the hour here. Unfortunately, my wife's uncle passed yesterday, and we have to go to the. I guess we're lucky enough to go to the funeral. I don't know how lucky we are, but we'll get to go to the funeral. I have to go to the funeral today, obviously, for obvious reasons. So I will be leaving at the top of the hour here at 9, and I'm sure maybe if Don's around, I don't know if you can hear me, Don, or if he's in the room yet, if he can fill in some of the quietness that might occur. You're not going to lose anything if Don gets in here and helps us out here a little bit. He's not in here yet. Oh yeah, he is. Don, you're in there, right? Okay, yeah, I see you. So if you can help me out here a little bit, I'd appreciate it. All right, fantastic. Don is fills in for me every now and then when I either on my way and he's from, as you will find out. Thank you very much, Kurt. As you will find out, without me having to tell you where he's from, he wears a 10-gallon hat, and he wears trades from his home in or palatial estate in Texas. And he's been with me for quite a while. I understand what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do things, and I think we'll be able to help you out very nicely. So thanks a lot, Don. I appreciate it. All right, so we are both sides of our pivot here. What was the link to join Zoom? You are in Dan Kelly. You are in Zoom, if I'm not mistaken. I would assume you're here since you're writing something in the chat. So you don't have to. I think you're good. Okay, Brad might be able to put the link in there if this is that's what I don't. I didn't even know we could go by. We could be joined in by phone. So this is. I don't. Brad will put the link up for you soon. I guess. I hope if he hears me. All right. So numbers again. Unemployment. So trade and unemployment. We'll see what happens. First support levels down here at the 78 area. Yeah, no problem. So welcome. We trade many mini S&Ps here, trying to find opportunities to scalp the market. 2 to 3 points on our trades. We look for about 4 to 5. If we're lucky, trades in the course of a day. Sometimes more, sometimes less. We are definitely at the mercy of the markets to give us those opportunities. So that's what we are focused in here and trying to do as the market quickly comes down here to the 78 area. All right, so nice rotation there off of our 78 area here. We had support down there. We got filled down at the lower end of our trade as well. So a nice pop back up here. Again, we're trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market. And we went down to 78. That's our first support level, and popped up over here to 80. Again, 2 to 3 points on our trades. And if you are trading multiple contracts, you are trying to maybe stay long a little bit, but with a trailing stop, so you don't lose any money on the trade. But that's how we take advantage of these levels. We use them as support or resistance. In this case, support down in here. All right. So again, you're scaling out of if you're trading multiple contracts, you're scaling out of them. But we did a nice rotation there off of our 78 area, and nice pop back up. Next level on the downside we have is 71. Good way to start Friday. Again, the worst time to lose money, obviously, is always on a Friday, because you just have to dwell on it all weekend. But hopefully we are going to be good today. Who knows? But it's just the first trade. But a good way to start, like I said. All right, let's see if there's any other numbers going to be released this morning. That's obviously the biggest one. And no, there's really nothing else as far as fundamental news. We've had a busy week of fundamental news that's been released, and the market has absorbed it pretty good. But overall, the market is definitely absorbing the fact that the earnings have been pretty decent. Also, which is nice to see that the market also moves on fundamentals, which one fundamental is earnings, which typically is what happens instead of what happened with GameStop there, which was just kind of crazy. Speaking of them, Robinhood removed trading restrictions on all stocks, including GameStop and AMC, as trading volume on the two stocks and their prices have subsided this week. GameStop shares have plunged 84% this week. Really? No kidding. While AMC lost 47% as retail traders turned their attention elsewhere. The move comes a day after the platform increased limits in buying for the two stocks. Complete joke what happened there, just complete joke. Pfizer withdrew an application in India for an emergency use authorization of COVID-19 vaccine it developed with BioNTech. Reuters reported that the discussion following a meeting with the country's drug regulators, which had been declining to accept the emergency use authorization without a small trial on safety and immunological immunogenicity. No, big word. Not a doctor for Indians. In the meantime, Pfizer's applied for the emergency use authorization. India has given authorization to two much cheaper vaccines that applied later from AstraZeneca and from another company I've never even heard of. And that's also a big name, so I no idea. In the United States, Johnson & Johnson has applied for FDA emergency use authorization for a single-shot COVID-19 vaccine. If approved, it'd be the third such vaccine to get an emergency okay from the Food and Drug Administration, joining the vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. Last week, Johnson & Johnson's vaccine was found to be 66% effective in protecting against the vaccine in a global trial. The vaccine is eagerly anticipated as a single-shot regimen, points towards a far simpler distribution path than the vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna, each of which calls for two shots given weeks apart. And the JJ vaccine will be shipped at 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit versus Pfizer's very cold minus 112 to minus 76 degrees, and even Moderna's at minus 13 to 5 degrees. So these vaccines have to be stored cold, except for Johnson & Johnson's. So I guess that's good. Hopefully, whoever wants it can get it. Mm-hmm. And the numbers have already gotten better from where they were getting really bad. I guess they had the holidays were part of the issue there with Thanksgiving and Christmas and people getting together. Those numbers did spike. Now they're talking about Super Bowl this weekend being another spike opportunity over the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Hopefully not. But the market, like I said, has totally ignored it. They have not really cared that much about it. So, it is what it is. And again, the Senate last night passed some kind of resolution in regards to the new package that they want to put out, the stimulus package. It passed some legislative vote. It was 50-50 plus the vice president who broke the tie. So it seems like that is going that way, and I think that's why the market has continued to stay strong and come up to these all-time highs. As you can tell, nothing deters this market. And when we were looking at those terrible numbers a couple of weeks back, the market was still pretty much staying on their highs. And here today, with the continuation of a not so great unemployment number, this continues to be the case. But the number was not in the triple digits. Well, actually, they were that was a positive 49, not a negative. So they needed bigger numbers on the positive side, but they didn't get it. It's all right. Our Fridays usually a bit slower. You know what? It's a grab bag. It really all depends on what is happening or what's not happening. I can't tell you that it's going to be. You never know. Uh, Friday late afternoon could be a little bit more volatile because maybe some people are trying to uh, flatten out before the weekend. They don't like to hold positions. I mean, that used to be the case. But this has been this week has been a long week of a lot of um, uh, economic news that was released, and so it's kind of absorbing everything and kind of coming up here. Bonds here continue to rally. Nice little rally there in the bond market. So after at 5:30 in the morning, Vice President Kamala Harris cast the crucial tie-breaking vote at 5:30. After 14 hours of debate, the Senate passed a $1.9 trillion budget for COVID relief. I think now I think that goes to the. And again, we talked about this yesterday. How is the market going to handle this? Is because it was hoping that it would get that number. I guess as they got it, so now we'll see what happens, right? I mean, we continue to rally here, all-time highs, not a big surprise. So again, we are trading mini S&Ps here, trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market. And obviously we had one quick opportunity there to our support level that the 78 area was triggered, and we had a nice little buy there. And like I said, if you're trying to stay long, you are having a trailing stop here and see if we can get this maybe up here to our pivot. It'll be a nice exit strategy. If you missed our levels, we're going to repeat the levels in the chat box area here. And there they are. Those are the levels that we gave out just as the market opened up, and that we use that as a guide to help us. Let's see. Peter, are you in the room? I'm going to have to cancel for today because I have to Good morning. I don't know if you heard, but I have to go to my wife's uncle passed last night, and they're having the funeral today, and I have to get over there. So I'm gonna have to cancel our class this afternoon. So we'll try to do it for Monday. Thank you. All right. Again, but you're going to be in good hands. My good friend pal down in Texas is going to be right in here for me, and you will have fun with Don. Hopefully get some opportunities to trade. Right? I mean, we never know whether we're going to make money on these trades or not. All we can ask for is that we have opportunity. Overall, I think we will make money over the long run, but sometimes it gets a little bit quiet, and nothing happens, and we're like itching to get some opportunities to trade. And so maybe we'll get some opportunities today. Yeah, don't worry. We here. Let me do that right now for you, in case Brad's not around. There you go. I think you're good to go now.
How's that?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Thanks for chipping in there for me.
No problem. Tell your wife I'm sorry for her loss.
I will do. Will do. It's been a tough year. It's been just tough year. Too many people around me.
Join the club.
I know. It's not fun.
Especially as you get older. I mean, forget about COVID. As you get older, people that drop like flies.
I'm starting to feel that. The worst part actually was telling my daughter, and she's like, "Oh my God, not again!" She's still youngish, and she's even starting to feel like this is way too much. Too many people we know lately have, unfortunately, had issues in the past for whatever reason. It's tough. It's tough.
Yep, it is. What does the scripture say? It's a time and season for all things.
I guess.
I just didn't pass this season.
Right. Right. All right. So we got a little support here that worked out very well. Now as you can tell, we're sidewinding at yesterday's trade. I mean, look at those hourly bars in the afternoon. They were just amazingly pathetic. But you could have made a case for staying long through that slow period, even though it wasn't going anywhere. But who knew that that last hour, or it was actually the last 15, 20 minutes of the market decided to push up here to the highs.
And I'm glad I wasn't trading yesterday afternoon, because it would have went against everything that I would have been trying to do.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I come back in, turned it on, and said, "What in the world did they do?"
Right. No, I'm telling you, it's like crazy. They do it right. I mean, there's and it doesn't give you a chance. I mean, you are just like, you either long or you're done.
Yeah. That's it.
But that happens. That's why we try not to trade in the late afternoon. We warn everybody here to trade the morning. We get good opportunities. You saw yesterday afternoon, the market was completely dead in the water. And then if you hang around at the end there, you just have no chance. So it's just why are we going to trade there when we have no chances? Market thought we could get up to the 84, but didn't, and now continue to downtick here. We're looking at the next support level will be
71.
71, right? All right, Maureen. Way to go. Do you see the chat box area there, Don?
Yeah. No, but hold on. Let me see what we got here. No, I don't have.
They don't allow you to get the chat. You should be able to pick it up. I mean, don't you have?
Well, I can see the chat.
Oh, you don't see. You're not. You don't see what people write in there. Well, you should actually, because you are designated as a panelist now. Anyway, Maureen shorted the 83 area, so she's telling. She's a happy camper. All right, we continue to downtick here. Support down at the 71 area. You can see our green band coming in there at 73 and change. Depending on how aggressive you are, our blue band and hourly coming in there at 69. So we can see layers of support here as the market kind of digests this unemployment number. And we'll decide which way it wants to go.
I'm not seeing the questions. I'm just.
Do you have the chat?
Yeah, I have the chat.
And nothing's in there?
Well, nothing that I didn't type. I didn't see Maureen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe Brad will be able to help you. Maybe you has to be reclassified or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let him come in there. Oh, there he is.
Step in. You need to make Don a co-host.
Well, I
think you did it on your end. You have to go to where the panelists are, in the participant area, and then just drop down to his name, and then I think you have to do more, and then make him a co-host.
Co-host. Okay, got it.
You have the control for that.
All right, Don, you're a co-host now.
All right.
So yeah, I knew Brad will be able to help.
No, I actually had to ask the trading doctor.
Oh, okay.
I got to him quickly.
No, I still don't see it.
Well, I know, but that's because she can somebody else type in something, just say hi or something in the chat box. Someone just we're trying to see if
there we go.
Okay, there.
Now,
you got it. You got it. There it is. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. All right, Don, you're good to go. I'm leaving you in good hands, everyone.
Hey,
Don.
Hey, Saul, just a quick comment before you go.
Mm-hmm.
Ben joined the family.
Ben
is part of your monthly.
All right, Ben. Congratulations. Thank you, Ben. Is that Ben H, if I'm not mistaken?
Yep.
All right, great. Fantastic, Ben. Congrats.
Thanks. A few more people coming in today. We're going to see.
All right. Well,
Dan is going to come in and a couple other ones.
Oh, Dan from last week that we were all rooting for him? Same Dan?
No, that was another one. This is Dan W.
Okay. I thought that was the same. I thought wasn't the other one a Dan W also?
No, it was another Dan.
Okay, another Dan.
I think it was Dan C.
Okay.
But he has not been seen.
He has been AWOL.
He'll be back.
We were rooting for him. I've never seen
him to come back.
Absolutely.
We have an open heart for him.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we've dipped down here to our green band if you're a little aggressive. If not, wait for the 71. I'm leaving you all in good hands here with my friend Don from Texas. And if you didn't know who was from Texas, just give it a minute. You'll figure it all out. All right. We'll talk to everybody on Monday. Have a good day.
Take care, brother.
Thanks.
Welcome all. Welcome to Wonderful Friday.
Speak up a little bit, my man.
I said, welcome to Wonderful Friday. How's that? Any better?
You gotta stand a little taller on that horse. Get that out, that voice out there.
Well,
All right,
let's
brother.
see.
Thank you.
Let's see. Any better? Hey, Brad, any better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Shows my mic and everything's working correctly. Okay. Thank you, Peter. Maureen, what part of Texas are you from? Did I hear one day you were from Uvalde? Okay, I was going to say Hondo. Yeah, we used to have a lease out at Sabaton. It's pretty country up through there. Hell, I'm sitting here. Every time that I have a target, there's either a blue band or a green band or something in my way. I left that open this morning. I was looking for 73, and it looks like it's fixing to bob on down there. Yep, there it is. Unfortunately, I didn't have the patience to stay. But our next level down is going to be 71. Let's see how it reacts at 71. Yesterday's high was what? 69.75. I'm going to have to. How many of you out there that use Saul's charts or use his settings and everything, that your settings are equal to his settings? I mean, kind of like the blue band on the hourly or the green band. That's where we just bounced off of. And I know sometimes my charts aren't, they don't exactly line up with yeah, it just when I first started, I was they were using Ninja charts, and I was running e-signal charts, and my charts wasn't my blue band was not the same as his, and I ended up having to go to make my blue bands work out. I ended up having to go back and like on an hourly instead of a 200-day moving average. I just had to start off and say, okay, what is a 97-day moving average or a 97 period moving average? So, well, that didn't work. Then I went to 96 and 95 until I finally found one that would match what his were doing. At that time, they were all on NinjaTrader. And since then, I'm all on NinjaTrader, and I've not using e-signal charts anymore. So I was just wondering, yeah, the Ninja Traders seem to be working, especially on the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes, they're okay. The hourlies are a little bit different. Not much, but a little bit. I'm about 71 on my hourly on the blue band, and they're at 70.50. So that's good to know. Because I'll be looking at his chart sometimes, and he'll be talking, and I'll be looking at my charts. I'm going, well, where is he getting that? And all of these charts, this is something that I've learned. Is just that, for instance, on Ninja Trader, if you go to the hourly chart, the bar that we're on now, and you highlight over the top of it, it's going to say it's the 10 o'clock bar. Well, I'm from Texas. 10 o'clock means, okay, it starts at 10 o'clock. Well, on Ninja Trader, it means that bar is going to end at 10 o'clock. And so their start and end times on a lot of these different software packages will confuse a lot of people. Yeah. And I had my e-signal set up when I highlighted it. It said 10 o'clock. That was the start of my 10 o'clock time frame. And so when you look at those things and you compare them to other charts, yeah, if you throw out the 10 o'clock number and just say, okay, I started in this time frame in this bar, the highs and lows and the opens will be about the same. Or they will be the same. But the only difference is when you look at software package, it's going to label it different. So, and I'm still using e-signal charts, so my mind is not really geared to what these charts doing. And I've looked at Saul's charts. It just, he has in case if y'all hadn't figured this one out, he has a wonderful eye for being able to look at that chart and say where the support and resistance levels are coming from. And if you notice it now, I can't see his other screens, and he may have another chart over there that he's using, but you notice most of these bars don't have opens and closes on them. They just highs and lows, and that's it. And now if he spreads those charts out, you'll start to see the opens and closes on. But other than that, right now, they're just bars. But he has a really unique way of looking at it. And I wish I had that capability to turn around and look at that thing and see what he sees. Kind of makes me wish I'd have bought that 73 instead of got out. Oh, well, shoulda, coulda, but didn't. Kind of miss that VIX being up around that 30 level. Well, I look at a candle chart and I kind of get lost. I've been on bars for so long. I think it's just really what you get used to. I think something else too, Maureen, is you have to learn to look at each individual bar. Where did it open? Where did it close? I mean, I can see the candle bodies. It just I spread my bars apart. Now on the bigger time frames, like on his charts, he squeezes them down because he can see these levels better. Once I figure out where my levels should be and what I want to do, I kind of focus in on a smaller time frame and but yeah, I just mainly look at the bars. Yes, mine are too. It he told me when I first started with him, he said, the only difference between you and I is I believe in the numbers. Well, I actually use and I learned this a long time ago. I mean, it's tough to trade on a 1 minute chart. And oh no, we're coming down into our see how we're going to react into that 71. And you know what? It got me slowed it down. I only got to 72.50. I would have liked to seen that thing go a little bit, get on down there in this one bar that we're trading at. When they do things like this, it makes me nervous. But for some of you, you may want to readjust and take the lower end of it. But we're still on this 1 5 minute bar. Yeah, he just said, that he it's like everything else. He's done it enough that he believes in the numbers. Well, look here. That's what we're looking for. I'm sorry, I'm engrossed in this trade. I'm not as good as Saul. I can't gum and walk at the same time. Yeah, just keep your stomps in and we'll see what happens. Yeah, we've been in this thing a little bit. Well, that's what our stops are for. Uh, no, I tell you what, the first 3 months that I was with him, Maureen, all I did was come in and sit down and listen and watch. And I went through the class and I wrote the numbers down, and I keep a running log every day of the numbers. I've got numbers going back for years now. Uh, and then I went back and I said, okay, do these things really work? What percentage of, because at that time, nobody really, how many, everybody asked the same questions. Well, how many times do you win? How many times do you lose? And, and it's kind of tough to say because we all trade differently. And, so I said, okay, to make it fair, what I have to do is I have to go back and say we had 71. I didn't fade the trades. I didn't use the uppers or the lowers. My criteria was I had to trade the 71 and I needed to go one tick above or below it, depending on where I was long or short at. And that's what we're looking for. Come on, let's bounce. And I went back and I went 3 months, day by day, number by number, and put it in there. Then I had to, and it's kind of tough when you're after the fact to look at a chart and say, "Oh yeah, I could got in here, I could have got in there." Yes, you can, but it I didn't have the capabilities to sit. Well, let's put it this way: my computer did. I didn't have the capabilities to go back in and set up a nice criteria for uh, back testing. So it was just basically I had to go at least one tick above or below to get out, and my target was 2 points. And it just simple and abide by them rules. And every now and then I fudged a little bit and said, I see what it's doing. I would have not stayed in this trade. And so I ended up showing about 70 something percent. I think it was 76%. Yes, it is. It is always high. And then after doing this a while, do the numbers work? Yeah. Is it a way of trading? Yes, it is. Is there other ways of trading? Yeah. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that my email isn't full of inboxes of the latest and the greatest of the indicators, that's going to make us all this great money and all of this. And for y'all that held on and wanted to get out, it gave you an opportunity at that 71 to bail the trade. But it just, and then you learn that we're all different. I know I have a ton of bad habits. I mean, literally a ton of them. And my bad habit is, look, I believe in the number so much that, look, I'm going to buy this level and it's going to go here. And that's not a good way to be. I mean, a lot of times I get away with it. It's great. And those just, they enable me. And that's not a good thing, in Saul's method, it's either you did or you didn't, get out and wait for the next trade. And it's really a stress free type environment when you start doing that. Now, see, if you believed enough in that trade, it gave you a good out in here. I'd like to see it go to that 72.50, but at this stage in the game, just get me out. So and I've talked to a lot of different traders with my time with Saul, and we all have a different perspective. We just do different things differently, and all right. And I've learned a lot. I mean, he also told me when I started with him, he said, he says, I'm not trying to take away with what you've already learned, because I told him I had taken a bunch of different courses and this and that. He says, no, he says, I'm not trying to take away from what you've already learned. He said, I'm just going to make you a better trader at what you already know. And he has. I mean, hands down. If I go back and be honest with everybody, I'd have to say, yep. And now we show up. He could have done this a little while ago and put everybody out of their misery. And Now, I cheated. I bought the 71s and I also bought the 69s. And the reason I bought the 69s was that was a number that I saw this morning. So I also knew that, if we got down to about 66, I needed to be out. So that's the reason I bought the 71s and the 69s. Yeah. I mean, some days it doesn't give it to you. It just, and I will sit into a position a long time if I have a true, like Saul says, you have to believe in these numbers. So we're coming back up to the 74 level, 75. Let's see, what did I have here this morning? 75, 76 area. A little different. Yeah, and Maureen, a lot of times this is where I use, now Saul does not teach this, so please take it with a grain of salt. Where I use it for me because I understand it, and it works. But Saul trades directly off of a 5-minute chart, and most professionals they do, because you figure these 5-minute bars they got to bounce. They've got a range, and the higher the volatility, the bigger that range, and the bigger your stop's got to be. Or you're just going to be giving them stop money. But I will use a pattern. If we are at a level and the pattern presents itself, I will take the pattern on a smaller time. And I have a reason. I have a place. And Saul teaches you. He says, first of all, you got to have a reason. You got to have a place. And the most important thing of all of this is know where you're wrong. Dan, did I trade with Saul? No. Are you referring to like on the floor, or I came into Saul's course like everybody else, and I signed up, and I've learned from Saul, but also I've kissed a lot of the other frogs in the pond. I mean, I've taken a lot of courses from a lot of different folks. In all fairness, all their courses work. But it fit their how do you say this? It fit their personalities. One group they believe in the numbers, but they believe in we have certain levels in here and certain numbers in the S&P that will rotate. It's kind of like if we make it past 72, odds are we're going to 75. We make it past 75, odds are we might make it to 77. But they through the years they have done their homework. They know these numbers. They developed a little system that works for them, and they trade it. It fits their personalities. And that's just one. I mean, I've taken people that use Fibonacci retracements and all of this. Do they all work for those people? They do, because that fits. That's all they do. And so the first time I heard Saul was at one of those things where they send you an email and you show up, and and people talk for an hour, then go to the next one. Yeah, they didn't work for me. But it's to the point now to where I can pretty well pick out these areas. Like if we use 75 to 76 area, the next area would be the 80. But we also have it set that right now we got that blue band coming in at 79 and a quarter. So I fight with that blue band. I know people have heard Saul. He said you just don't respect it, and he's right. You know, I'm looking at the other side of the fence, and that blue band is standing in my way. And I can tell you this: every time it hits that blue band, it usually stops and bounces and turns around. It does that way more times than it just blows through it and keeps on going. Now, like this morning, I had that 73 target down at the bottom down. I also was coming out of being short at about 84. And so it went down and I took profits. It bounced back up. I got back in and it bobbled down there around that 75 level. And I said, you know, I'm not waiting for another 2 points. I'm just going, that's good enough. And let's see. But you learning as you start looking at this market, and as you go back and you look at yesterday was kind of the exception. Yesterday was one of those days that makes it really hard to trade because it was just a one-way day. And you knew the unemployment number was coming out today, and somebody knew something. They were positioning themselves. Either that or they knew that the Congress was going to pass the stimulus package. Of course, it was on the internet that they were going to do it anyway. So, and if you traded like Saul teaches you to trade, you don't have a problem. You know, it's not all about counter trend trades. You know, it's about scalping both directions during the day, but also getting on the right side of this thing, and then learning to sit with one contract for 2 and 3 hours and just let this grind its way up. My problem is I look at it and say, man, I got 4 points out of this. Get me out. And which is okay. I mean, I made money on the trade. And yeah, it just, you know, you're probably like me, Maureen. There's been a lot of trades that you get in and you get in the money and you move your stop up to break even or tick past break even just to cover commissions, and all of a sudden it turns around and comes right back down and takes you out, and you left $200 or $300 on the table because you were trying to hold on. And now, if you got multiple contracts, that's not a big deal. I mean, you made money on one, and you sit and wait on the others. But my goal, you know, my horizons have changed through the years. I look back, and the things like the algorithms, they one of the guys I took a class from told a story about a guy that he would buy like 500 S&P contracts, and he would sit and he would wait for a level that everybody and his brother saw that once we pass this level, we were going to everybody was going to jump on board. Well, he would automatically buy 500 at this level when it broke. and then he would turn around and automatically start selling 500 within a point. And at that time, it was about a year, and this guy knew his broker, which was doing that. And he asked him, he said, "Is that true that that guy did it?" He said, "Yeah." It's 2 years later, and he's never lost on trade. So it makes you stop and think that, okay, the further out in time that we go, the probabilities start turning against us. The S&P, we know, moves 2 to 3 points, probably 70+% of the time. We start moving to 4 to 5 points, we're probably, I'm guessing, 40 to 50% of the time. We start moving out to 10 points or better in one run, in one straight run like that, we're probably down less than 10%. So these bots and stuff like this, they're better off taking a trade and getting it 99.9% of the time and making money on every trade. You know, it doesn't sound like much, but day in and day out, that starts to mount up to some serious money. Especially as you get bigger, you start increasing in size. It so it's just it's how we view the market and this you know. So if I make $10 on a trade, I tap myself on the back. I said, you know, I made $10. I didn't get stopped out. I paid my commissions. It was a good trade. Any trade that I don't lose money on is a good trade. And we come up to that 79 area and we hit that blue band. Well, if I'd have still had one on, my experience with that blue band says, look, take your money and get out. That's just me. I've tried it. I've even tried taking it off my chart. So, you know, out of sight, out of mind. But no, that doesn't work. And it is amazing. The more you play around with it, how accurate that little blue band is. But I mean, between the blue band and the green band, and I also use a 50 period moving. There are some really wonderful trades that come off of. And so if you believe in them, you put your trade on, you put your stop in. This is where I'm wrong. We know that we should have some resistance up there at 80. So, I mean, 79 with a stop there at 80, you know, is it worth it? Blue band says it is, but I'm not a blue bander. I just have to. Usually, I'm trying to get out of them at that stage, and not trying to stay in them. We have a pivot this morning of 84. would like to see us tag that 80 level and come off of it. Well, we know the blue band is at 79. And if you get in it, sit in it for a minute or two, and it's not doing what you want, you can always get out. It's just learning not to be scared of the market, but yet respect the market. Because with a small trading account, this thing can just, it'll eat you and you didn't even know it was hungry. No, Dan, that's not a floor pivot. That's a saw pivot. You got to understand that saw came off the floor as a pit trader. And that is a pivot that they learned. And that's what he teaches in his course. Let's see, I didn't even. Yeah, I tried what you suggested, and there's a gentleman out there. Matter of fact, I've got several of his books. Hold on a second. Well, for you pivot traders, it would have worked out. 38, 49, 17. Most software packages have the pivots, like pivots, resistance 1, 2, and 3. All right, it'll be that way. Now, you can't see much off that 5-minute chart what it did when we hit that blue band. And sometimes that's where a 1-minute chart will kind of show its hand, so to speak. I'd like to see this one bounce on down into the 78 area. Yeah, but we also know that blue band sitting there. It's 79. You know, Maureen, you almost have to, you know, I was taught by another trader, look, if you've been in a position for 15 minutes and you're profitable, never lose money. Move that stop to break even, cover commissions, do something with it, but, you know, don't lose money on the trade. So I look at that and I'm going, well, you know, why leave money on the table? Just take your profits. You know, we don't have to have the full run of the range. You know, by the rules, if I'd have been long down there at the 71, I'd have had to get out at that 79. The 80's not giving me the bounce that I'm looking for. It you know, it does and it doesn't. Let's see. Yeah. I was looking for the to sell the 80's and come down to about 78, but it's not giving me the rotation. So now it's like, okay, just get out of the trade. You know. Now, do I believe that the 80 will do it? Am I was my conviction strong enough to lose a lot of money on it? No. Uh, well, you did good then. You know, there's nothing. I mean, we are here to scalp. And my numbers are not better than anybody else's numbers. They're just uh, you have to believe in them. And that I think that's the key. You have to believe in what you're doing. And so I have a toolbox. That's right. It it's just a way of trading and I know we're coming up to getting close to our pivot up in here. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, let's see what we got to do here. At 80 gave me a little trouble on the downside. This seems like it's going to give me a little trouble on the upside. I kind of miss Trump's tweets. At least the market would move when he tweeted something. Yeah, that's about right. I try not to give it back too much, Fred. It just, but I do. It just. I told somebody one day. I said, trading's kind of. I said, if you want to figure out if you've got the temperament to be a trader, I says, you get a two-door car and you roll the front window down and you roll the back window down on the same side and you take a handful of money and you throw it out the front window, and what blows back in the back end is what you get to keep. So you do the math on it. I said, some days I feel just like that. Okay, guys. You think so, huh, Pedro? Yeah. Yeah, I think I should have prefaced it with, yeah, the car is moving. Yeah, the 84 is our pivot. Uh, for the pivot players out there. It what we do is not hard. In some, I mean, the mechanics of it is not hard. The psychological aspect of it is it'll beat on you. It's gonna come back down and test her 80. It looks like. Now, if it would just drop to 78, then not prediction, but my what it should do. I call it what it should do. The market will usually always give you an out. And I shorted the 80s and I didn't get my reactions. And I shorted again the 82s. And then I had an order setting at my pivot. And so when we got back down to 80, I have bailed my trades. Yeah, anytime I come out not being scraped up, cut up, or beat up, I figure I'm doing real well today. Most, I tell Saul I'm a good hole trader because I spend more time digging myself out of holes than I do anything else, and you learn a lot from that. Uh, the best, the best advice I can give you is don't get in the hole to begin with. Take your stop and get out. I mean, you will be so much more money ahead. It's not even funny. You think, well, but I've lost $100 or $200 or even 500. That's cheaper than losing 1,000 and having to make a 2,000 back to get back. And So that rule that he states, always know where you're wrong. There's a lot of truth in it, and and once you realize that, and you've got to stop, and it's like that 71. Well, we went to 69, and then it turned around. If I'd have just had a bigger stop, that's okay. But those big stops are not for everybody. I mean, if you're having if you're having troubles taking a $100 stop, imagine what a 300 or a $500 stop's going to do to your psyche. It really messes with you. And so, but when you come in and you're mechanically doing it, look, this is where I'm getting in at. This is where I'm wrong, and that it's that simple. And so when you get stopped out, got stopped out. There's some days this thing goes up and it just blows through level after level. And after about the second time, for me, I've got to say, okay, what's going on here? Why is this market is strong? It's not even, I mean, we'll hit a level and bounce back maybe a point, then it takes off again. It's kind of like, that's telling you something. It's telling you, look, there's somebody's got they're buying a lot. Who? I don't have any idea. But this market is strong, and for whatever reason, and that's all says I'm a target picker. I try and see where it's going, and for the most part, I'm probably somewhere between 80 and 90% correct on my targets. Knowing that, I still lose money. And because I'm not, you just don't buy or sell and hold on. Let's see. Roop, yeah, right now, in this market with our volatility, we're using 2 to 3 points. And if you're not comfortable with 3, use 2. If you're not comfortable fading a level, use the level. And a lot of times will come down to an area, we'll hit it, we'll bounce off of it, it'll shoot through the moon and just bam. And so if you're waiting to get in after the fact, usually there's several hundred orders sitting there. So you get in line and it wants the first 150, you've missed out. And yeah, it's yeah, the VIX. I mean, the VIX right now, we are setting at a 21. It's kind of a slow VIX. Now, what do I expect? What am I expecting out of this market? Okay, we've got back below 80. Then 78 is probably a pretty good target now. And we got a blue band at what, 78.50, somewhere in there. So it's been my experience and what I've known about my levels at 78 would be probably a pretty good target, probably a good probability. Now, is it going to go there? I have no idea. But, if I would have still been short at the 82s, I'm going, 79 is looking pretty good. Heck with 78. I made money on the trade. And I can also look at different time frames and say, okay, we ought to be hitting a little bit more resistance down there at 78. 78's got some resistance or support, I mean. And But we also had that blue band, and that blue band is uncanny. It just, I mean, there's a reason that blue band, it's all uses it. It just, and the more I fight with it, the more that I learn about it. And you know, Saul doesn't. I guess I, I guess that's one of the things that drew me to him after listening to his presentation. He's talking. He talked then just like he talks now, and I have seen him in some wild markets, and I'm going, you know, I got a 15-point stop, and he says, "Well, you do this, you do that." It's just kind of like it's just that simple. And then you learn to be patient, and then you learn that most of this is a waiting game. Yeah, there's our 78. Now, it did what I thought it was going to do. Did I have an area to trade? Yeah, I did. I had several different reasonings to go in there. Like the 81, so an 80, 83, 83.50 stop. Now, where are we going from here? I really don't know. It's 10 o'clock. I think, let's see, where is this thing open up at? You have to get back below 75. You can push back down. How many trades have I done today? Honestly, I don't know. Let me look. I've done 13 trades. I've had 11 winners, 1 loser, and 1 break even. What time did I start? I started at 8:30. Now, I don't mind sharing that with you. It's just that you need to come around on a day that that I'm down at like 60% or 40%. But at the end of the day, only thing I care about is my account green. How many trades I lost during that day. It's just kind of melts away for me. It's kind of like, okay, I could have made more money. Yes. Let's see. Do I have a percentage here? Yeah, today I'm 84%. And, you know, let's see. I'm looking here. The average winning trade worked out about $111. My biggest losing trade was $12.50. You do the math. And a lot of times I don't trust these trade performance things. And I tell you the reason being is that a lot of times, and for instance, that 71 and the 69, I bought both of them. And I might have bailed out one at 70 and 3/4. Well, it would have shown that I had a one tick loss, but you know, it might be because it's first in, first out type situation. So it really and truly, the first trade you put on and you took a loss on it, it's going to show that. But you know, what boils down to at the end of the day, is mine green or red? You know, as long as it's green, I can come back tomorrow and we can do it again. No, don't move to Texas for that. You don't need to live in Texas to be able to do that. I have sat in front of this computer, no telling how many hours through the years. And I guess when I first started, people were telling us, you know, stories about, oh man, I blew up my account 3 times. And I said, you know, I'm not going to blow up my account 3 times. That to me, that's just kind of dumb. I mean, how many times do you have to be kicked to learn something from that horse? You know, don't stand behind it. That's so, you know, if you're losing money, don't do that. But and I'm like everybody else. I have searched and searched and searched looking for the holy grail, and I've wasted more time because I haven't been paying attention to what needed to be paid attention to. And you're too worried about losing money, or you're too worried about making money to trade. You know, if you're worried about the money, odds are you're not going to be successful. And it's taken me a long time to figure that little ditty out. So, you know, do the analysis, see what's happening, trade what it's telling you. And if you're wrong, that's what the stop's for. That's your net. You know, it didn't work. It didn't work out like I wanted it to. And there's so many times I'm jumping in a trade and it'll go past where I jumped in at. It'll go right down to one of these levels and bounced off, and it comes shooting back up and it goes to the target. Yeah, I made a little money on it, but I could have made a lot of money. And Saul told me one day, he said, yeah, I got in at 10 and you got in at 18. So you do the math. So, well, he's got a point. I mean, he's got a point. So, and then you learn that, look, there's so many trades in a day. I mean, there's nothing for me if I really trade a bunch to hit 25, 30 trades a day. But it's kind of like, but my mentality now is, look, I'm here to make money. If I see a trade that I can put on and make 50, 60 bucks on, I'm jumping on it because I love to trade. Yeah, that's over trading. It is. But it doesn't take, if you do not control those losses for those small wins, it doesn't take many losses to just eat you up. So you have to be running really tight stops, and you have to be correct on the biggest majority. But there is this. I can go through, and this is something else that I'll pass on to you. And I'm not trying to say that, look, I know everything about trading, because I promise you I don't. I'm passing on experience that I've learned from other people, and they've been kind enough to share with me. And one of the courses, matter of fact, that I took, the guy says, he says, so many people come in here and they're trading off a 1 minute chart, and they expect 5 and 10 points off that 1 minute chart. And the probabilities of that happening are probably less than 10%. Like I said, the further out in time you go, or in price you go, the probabilities of getting there come down before we get a reversal. The odds of getting 2 to 3% are probably 70, 80% of the time. So if you're trading on a smaller time frame chart and you're looking, and you also have to say that's from the bottom to the top. So, 5 1 minute bars is 5 minute bar. So you can also fling over to the average 2 range of that 5 minute bar and say, okay, right now the average 2 range is only about 2.5, 3 points. So from the bottom of that bar to the top of that bar, you're only going to get 2.5, 3 points. So trying to get 5 points out of that bar doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means that the probabilities of that range expanding in that deal is pretty slim. Yep, it is. But I have learned to. I was fascinated with Gann, W.D. Gann. I know a lot of you've heard about him, and how he did things, and I think it was in his How to Make Money on Trading Commodities. He's got like 20 or 30 rules on speculation, and they're really good rules. I mean, it's money management, and I hear this from my friends about, we're going to buy it here and it's going to go up. Well, first of all, we don't know, and we are looking at the ES, but if you turn around and you throw the chart of Tesla up there or widgets up there, it's still ebbs and flows. If you put up what am I trying to say? A lot of the 401 plans up there, and it's just a chart, but they don't just usually open up and just keep going up and up and up, and finally one day they stop and come down. They go up, come down. Cool. I mean, it's just like following the bouncing ball, up, down, up, down. But it just, and when you learn this, it's kind of like, and Gann states in his book, Back to Gann, there's more money to be made trading the swings. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's kind of what we're doing in Saul's class. I mean, let's see, what did I have here? Let me go back to pull up my thing. Well, today I've had 3 long trades and 10 short trades. And but there's a lot of days that I'm liable to have 10 shorts, 10 longs, or 15 longs and 10 shorts. I mean, I'm trading what it's telling me to trade, and I'm trading, like Saul says, in an area that we should expect a reaction. I expected that reaction at that 80 area, at a minimum back to 78. But where did I get all that stuff from? You also understand I'm running a 1 minute, a 5 minute, a 30 minute, an hourly, and a 15 minute. And so Gann, in one of his books, so to speak, I don't remember which one. You know, Gann was his theory was that all the answers could be found in the Bible. And he came out of a little town up in East Texas that was really a high Baptist area. And, you know, matter of fact, even in some of his courses, he went back and said, you know, first thing you do is you read the Bible from cover to cover. And he said, then you're going to get your answers. That was his theory. I'm not talking religion. But I think in the passage of Ezekiel, they talk about wheels within wheels. And, you know, and I went to the scriptures and read it, and I'm going, well, I don't get it. Of course, I don't get a lot of what Gann was trying to tell me. Let's see. What is the 240? That's a 4-hour, isn't it, Maureen? If I remember right. Yeah. Yeah. I got one of those too. But they, so it made me stop and think, you know, in order to paint the picture on a 1-hour bar, you know, we step it down. Okay, that picture is now being painted on the 2 30-minute bars, or 4 15s, and just right on down the line. So it's kind of like, okay, what am I trying to see here? What's it telling? And so does it mean that we know where this market's going? No. Does it? We have to have a reason to trade, and we have to have a level to trade. And then a lot of times during the day, we get to an area, and let's see if this 160. And this is one of these areas that we're trading at now, the 75 to 76 area. And so it just, you learn to what's this thing doing when it gets to these areas. Now we're creating almost new levels that we're going to probably see coming into Monday. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's a month to month thing that he's offering there, Dan. I think they're offering $100 a month if I saw it right. Brad will come in after a while or a little bit. He'll let you know. Yeah, it's a special discount for 100. What he got up there. I'm still struggling with the 75s or the 76s. Sometimes in my analysis, what I'm looking at is not what the market's actually doing. So it doesn't really matter at that point. It's kind of like, it just, it's like Saul's areas. Sometimes we miss them by a tick. And not only do we see these areas, but you also have to understand that everybody else in the world sees them also. So then the other thing is what are the bots going to do with it? I mean, you're trading against computers. Can you beat them? We do it every day. Do we beat them every time? No. But, most of the time, that's why we see a lot of these moves. We'll hit a level, it'll bounce up 1 point, turn around and come right back down. It just, until that bot finishes its profit taking, or I'm assuming it's profit taking, it's what the market's going to be doing. And it's just kind of like, okay, what we're doing here? We know that at 75 that we should have some support. And then I guess the next thing is it's just being patient. And I'm like you, Maureen. That's what drew me to him. I said, I don't want to learn from some. I've been around where people just holler and yell, and it's kind of like I'm not learning anything from all this yelling and screaming. Just talk. And there's been a lot of times it's just when I first started, I'd have a question and I'd have to call him. And I call him. He says, "Man, can I call you back?" He says, "I'm digging out of a hole." I said, "You bet. I understand that scenario. Just dig yourself right out. We'll talk later." And and he'll tell you right now. He says, "Yeah, I work myself into some jams from time to time. And I work myself into jams because I jump in too quick instead of stopping and really looking at what's going on. So what's this thing truly telling? Oh, it's going to do. No, it doesn't have to do that. It's going to do what it wants to do. And I'm not big enough to change this market. So I'm trading in a room that everybody in the world is trading in, and I don't mind fading levels, and if I've got a good reason, and if it doesn't work out, I'll either take my hickey and you run without stops. And a guy told me one time, he says, "Yeah," he says, "there's no problem running without stops." He says, "But at the end of the day, you have to cowboy up." And he said, "If you can do that and come back the next day and it not bother you, then by all means trade without that stop." So, it's kind of like, yeah, if you can do that, go for it. But I can promise you this, it's cheaper to take that stop than it is to sit through that big old drawdown. And I have sat through some drawdowns for days, looking at it going, it'll come back. And I'm going, you dummy. And finally, it's like Saul says, what is your tolerance for pain? If you can truly stand that much pain, then hey, go for it. But there's still no guarantee you're going to be right. So you're going to have to really have a big conviction in there. And it's kind of like, it's not worth it. That to me, that is just not. And something else I've learned too is okay, we are here to make money. This is our factory. This is what we produce out of. And if we're in a drawdown, we're not producing squat. Our factory is shut down. So, if we're going to make money out of our factory, we have to keep producing. So, and it's like everything else. If you make a mistake in a production run, you have to stop, shut it down, kick it out, start it up again. It's that simple. But it's learning to believe in the numbers Yeah, that's true. That is so true, Pedro. And so it's just and it's taken me a long time to learn that. And it's I paid a very high price for it. So I hope that it sinks into that you gain something from it. You know, I know that I'm just rambling on about a lot of different things, but and I'm sure that we all have our own experiences. I know I love listening to Saul's stories about a lot of these big dogs, you know, that lost $1 million just he said, you know, that's the quickest $1 million I've ever lost. And I'm going, that hurts. I know that when I first started out, I was reading the Market Wizard books. You know, and it was amazing that these guys were trading these huge amounts, but it's just kind of like I can see where it takes its toll on you day in and day out. It just emotionally, and I've been in that same boat. It's kind of emotionally. It's kind of like you want to just throw in the towel and quit. This is the hardest simple job I have ever had. It's just yeah, but does it? But my perspective, Pedro, is does it have to be? You know, blowing up your account. You know, yeah, you learn from your process, but it's kind of like with all the information that we have out there on money management and people telling you, look, don't trade without stops. But yet we do it. Yeah, and I understand the no pain, no gain. I had that same attitude, but it's kind of like now, it's kind of like these are my criteria for trading. One is I have to have reason. My reasoning may be a pattern, a level, uh, but the most important reason is if I get in this trade, where am I wrong at? That's it. That's before I even put in a target. It's kind of like, okay, I'm trying to get to here. I can trade it to probably here. It's either a blue band or something like that. I'm going to get a little support. I'm getting some resistance. I want to get out. I want to reposition myself up a little higher. You know, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm not trying to hold on. I'm trying to make money at every one of these levels. And where am I wrong? Is right here. I am out. And that's kind of the mentality that I've had to adjust for me. And Candy, I can't tell you that that's part of the class, Saul's training class. It wouldn't be fair to for the people that have came in and paid for the course and learned this. And you know, basically, when you come in and you pay Saul to do this, you're paying for somebody that has the experience that is going to show you and walk you through it. But to this day, this I can say, they're easy and see. That's right. It. I've seen a lot of traders get into trades and make money. Oh, this is this simple, and then next thing you know, they're losing money. And I had a course one time, and the guy said, "Yep, I can tell you exactly what happened." Before I even hear the story, they got off the reservation. Meaning was at first they were doing exactly what the other folks were doing. They were trading like they were taught. Then they started losing money because they thought they knew a better way. And they started adding their way into their system, which it blew it up. And I've seen it, yeah. I've seen it happen more than once. It's happened to me, you know. Oh yeah, let's do this. I'm going. Yeah, but that's the nice thing about systems is a system is just a systematic way to put on a trade, plain and simple. This, you know, the stars, the moons, all has to be lined up. Then you take the trade, and this is where you're wrong. and that's the same way with bots and everything else. I mean, they're trading a system. It's a mechanical system that probably has a really high probability of working out. And so we being humans, we have to back up and say, okay, we're mechanically going to trade. And so this is why we're trading. This is where we're trading. This is where we're wrong. This is where we hope to get to. Trade's on. Because once you're in a trade, the only thing you can do at that point is manage your money. You can't make it go to where you want it to go. So at that point, and that's where experience like Saul and other folks come in. It just, they're telling you the reason. And I know when I first started, I said, well, do you move your stop, from that $100 down? He said, no, just leave it at $100. He said, and because you've got to leave room for those things to work. Now, every day is a little different because of the volatility. If this thing's really moving around, you're going to have wider stop, or best thing to do is if you can't stand that big of a stop, or you can't stand the swings, is to sit on the sidelines and watch, because it's very interesting. Let's see. If we join the $100 a month, we get all the training. Or is there? No, the training course is separately from the $100 a month. Candy, it's basically it covers you can come into the room. It covers room expenses, I think. I'm not sure. Brad is the one that would answer that question probably better than anybody, because I'm just a trader. I come into the room just like everybody else. I sit down, I get the numbers, I get my numbers, their numbers, and I kind of have me a game plan for the day. Then I just trade it, and so. But the numbers, let's see. Yeah, that's right. You get the if you're a member of if you take the class or Saul's mentoring thing, you get a year's free monthly deals with that you don't pay for it within that first year, I believe. I think that's way more he put it. But basically, it's just and what you see as a monthly subscriber is, I'd say, probably 40% of what's there to trade. It's just once you learn it, I mean, I know right after I learned a bunch of stuff, I'm going, look at all these trades, man. I just went, wow. I had to back up and slow down. I mean, it just trade after trade after trade. It's just kind of like, it's okay. I can only imagine what it's truly like to have to walk into a pit and armed with some numbers on the wall or whatever you write down on your pad. Yes. After a year of classes, the classes are over. You go back to the monthly fee. That's the way I understand it. But to be able to walk in a pit and work off of numbers and know that, okay, I've got and they have to take the other side of the trades. It's not like, oh, I don't want to be long today. It's a sharp market. Well, they're market makers. They have to. So they have to take the trade and turn around and hedge their position in that pit. So, what we're doing is we're selectively taking what we want. They had to do this, and I'm going, and he was successful at it. That's amazing thing. It's kind of like, and if you've ever been to the the exchange in Chicago and seen the I was there like 02 or 03, and the pits had been downsized somewhat, but they were still active. And it kind of like reminds you of the movie The Gladiator. Everybody's surrounding that pit, and it's just stair step down to like a little donut in the center, and everybody yelling and screaming. And I asked, and one thing you notice about everybody at that time in the pit, they were not small people. They were big people. They were tall. They were muscular. I mean, they it's almost like you had to elbow your way through and around. And I asked the guy that was giving the tour, I says, do these guys make money? He said, for the most days, he said, yeah, they do. But he says, there's nothing for them to be down 2 or 3 million by the end of the deal some days. And I'm just, back then that just blew my mind. It's kind of $1 million down. Just take me out and shoot me. But it was just, before that time, we just didn't have had to use brokers, and there's no money to be made. Not for the small investor. Now, with the invention of computers, and I mean, our commissions are nothing, and just, I mean, when you look at the S&P on how much leverage that what we're controlling with one contract, it's mind-boggling. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna stop again and take another break. I'll be back in a minute.
Hey, that gives me a minute to pop in. Wanted to thank Don, and I know he'll be back. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them for Don. If you have any questions about the service, don't hesitate to post it. This is a great dialogue from somebody, specifically Don, that has been part of this service for a very long time and is a good friend of Saul's. And I'm sure he explained a lot of the beginnings, in his trading and how he's doing now, which, is wonderful. So we appreciate him being able to come on, relate his thoughts about what's happening in the market and as it relates to his trading, and obviously what the opportunity for the individuals that are part of this service and those that are contemplating signing up for Saul's service. Hey, Candy, do you have any questions? I know that you come in over the last couple days. Just let me know if you're there. Dan, I think you did your thing already. Yes. That's between you and PayPal. We don't see any of it. So you can go in any time. If you wanted to roll over at that price, then you probably wouldn't want to cancel it, but it's completely up to you. In other words, that's why I'm authorizing you in the background to make sure that you get set up properly. Candy, I don't think I did. Let me scroll back. How far was it? A while ago? Was it a short question, a long question? Let me see if I can dig it out here.
1040.
Hello, Don.
Hey.
So it was just 15 minutes ago. Let's
1037 and 1040 and 1035.
It's funny. There's a lot of great questions in here. It's where you think you'd be able to search for
You want to know the
question.
cost of the training? You'll have to call her and discuss that with her. And yeah,
Let me just go back to the. So yes, I think it's so I'll be happy to answer. The service is multiple faceted. The first level of service is to become part of Saul's family, where you sign up for his monthly, and I'll send out. I think I sent it out to you earlier. There's an opportunity that's for the people that were in last week. Let's see here. I'll send it out to you now. And everybody else wants it, just raise your hand. So when you become part of the family, you're able to come in on a daily basis. You're able to receive Saul's levels, his proprietary scalping levels, and then also go through the morning with him based on his commentary in and around those zones. So there's back and forth with Saul. There's questions answered by Saul. There's focus on his levels or his key areas. And that's the first level of service. Hey, Dan, you're done, man. You're done. You're the Friday guy, if I remember. So we're looking for you on the back end. Um, so that's the first level of opportunity. Second level of opportunity for people that are part of the family is to talk privately and personally about a couple of opportunities to be part of Saul's intensive. Saul's intensive. So Saul's intensive is an opportunity to work with him where he takes you under his wing and he works with you personally and privately, teaches you how to set his levels so you can do it on your own. And then I guess, it's the schooling of the entries, exits, and stops at those levels and the why at those levels would you put a trade on, short or long, fade trade or momentum trade. And also the nuance of the why, that the levels are, how would you say, areas that may not be valid anymore, depending on market, and that's price action, how the market is behaving, how it behaved going into, and whether you should put a trade on or not at a particular level, or is the level not valid anymore. So it's really an opportunity for you or others in this service to really have somebody work with you not only on how to set the levels, but the intricacies and the nuance of trading in and around the levels, then being critiqued by Saul, what you did well, what you need or should change. And then it's about the change, the small changes that are made based on a particular day, momentum and follow through, how the market is behaving, the levels, and then the concept of developing consistent profitability or the trades that you do and learn to do better over time. And I think that's really the most important thing. So becoming part of the family is a sign of respect. If you do that, then you have the opportunity to have a trading consultation, learn about Saul's, intensive. I would stick around for a while. I would start to look at the action and the price action and listen to Saul's commentary, while you're part of the family, and then look to have that conversation with him. In the meantime, if you want to have a conversation about, join the family, have a conversation about trading platforms, be able to speed trade, order entry, how to get set up for the concept of being able to get in and get out. And there's additional things too, because he's looking in his trades. Let's just talk about Sal's trades. He's looking for a minimum trading profit of each trade of 2 points, a minimum trading profit on each trade of 2 points. So he's looking for 2 points plus. So how to handle the 2 points plus is a whole nother part of his teaching, where he's teaching you how to hold on to some contracts and then let the other ones go. So that's an order entry opportunity, and you've got to understand when to do that, when to press and when not to press. So let me know if that helps you, Candy, at all. You know, Dan, you were the Friday guy, so today's Friday, so I'm hoping that you join the family. Harvey, how are you doing? James C. Hey, James, are you part of the family? Just let me know. Saul's family. Norbert, I think you might be. Just let me know back in chat. Use a chat feature to respond. Richard S, let me know. Saul B, I would like you to become. I know you got sent into Zoom jail, and I don't want that to happen to you again. Just make sure that you let us know. Um, yeah, we'll be here till 4. Hey, Maureen, that's okay. I don't think I even saw that. And Dan, you can do PayPal, I believe, just right on your computer. You can do it as a it seems like a very straightforward process. I'm sure you're working on it. And Saul let me know. So our website really is a driver just into this service, into Zoom. Having said that, the everything we do here is personal. Everything we do is one-on-one. We really don't like emails because there's so much junk email out there. And we like to do everything live when it comes to our interaction or on the telephone directly. So I think if I was going to make a suggestion, I would just sign up for Sol's monthly at the rate that I sent you. And then we can set up a time to talk on the telephone. And then by being part of the monthly, it gives you time to be able to come in, get Sol's levels, interact, ask questions. And if there's a time you'd like to talk to Sol on the telephone directly, once you're part of the family, you can do that. So, that's where it all starts. And again, that's just respect. Hey, Roop. So I got Richard S. I think you are. Let me know back in chat. Hey, Pedro. Norbert, just let me know. I think you are. Just let me know. James C. Harvey G. If I missed you and I didn't send it out to you, let me know. Candy, you've got yours. Ben, again, welcome to the family. I want to just step out for a minute. I'll be back. If Dan wants to stop in, that's great. But remember, and I think it's important for you to know that the amount is so nominal against the concept of actual trading and trading capital that's why it's a sign of respect. And I'm sure the information you got already is worth that times about 20 or 30.
Hey, Brad. Candy, I think it's Pit IQ TV or pitintelligence.com, I think. Try that. For those of you that are members of Saul's class, uh, I'll give you a little challenge. And every now and then, Saul has trusted me something were to happen to put out numbers. And I hadn't been here very long when he says, "Look, I got to do this. Here, you give out the numbers." And I'm going, "Do what? Have you lost your ever loving mind?" But I guess the challenge is every morning, if you can come in before he gets here, sit down and you look at the numbers like you're going to give them out for everybody else, because when you start giving numbers out for everybody to use, and then you realize that, look, they can lose money off of my numbers. It sure makes you look at the numbers a whole different way, and it'll also help you learn the numbers. It's easy to come in here and sit down and write the numbers down, but it's entirely different when you look at that chart and say, okay, where are these numbers coming from? Where, why, and then you learn to get a whole new perspective on the numbers. And that's what I learned by giving out the numbers for other people. And it's kind of scary. Then not only that is not only are you giving numbers for them to trade off of, but these are the numbers that you should be trading off of also. And so you learn a respect for those numbers in those areas. And that right there is probably a great learning key that I lucked out and learned that one. But and then you have to also realize when you're giving these numbers out that, look, these are areas that we should get a bounce. These are not necessarily areas that we are going to get a bounce. That market can run over my level, Saul's levels, or anybody else's level. It can do what it wants to. And but we expect areas of reaction. And but for those of you that are in his class, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. It just don't just depending on then after he comes in. I mean, continue to write his levels down, and there's some days that my levels work great and his not so good, and most of the time, probably 90% of the time, his work great all the time. So I'm going, okay, what am I doing wrong? So it's made me have to stop, back up, reinvent the wheel, so to speak. Well, I'll tell you what, it's 11 o'clock now. I lucked out yesterday afternoon. I was not trading that big up push after 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Well, today has been a pretty good day for a Friday. I know for Saul does not like to. It's not to say that he can't, because he can trade the afternoons. As a matter of fact, that man can trade 24/7. He just chooses not to. Uh, I like the afternoons. Uh, Usually from this time till about 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'll take a break, go do something else, and like today, it's cloudy, rainy, and cold here, and so sitting inside the office is a good place to be. It's trading. You get to think about trading's not a bad thing. It's warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer. Uh, you're not outside. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like outside. Spend most of my life outside. So I am in Marine. I'm in Orange, Texas, and Orange is right on Interstate 10, right on the Texas-Louisiana border. And the Sabine River divides Texas and Louisiana. And as the crow flies, I'm probably less than 4 miles straight to the Sabine River. So, I'm probably about 2 miles north of Interstate 10. So it'll give you some idea. Did I hear Saul correctly one day said you're in Colorado? That's where you're at now? I think one of the biggest problems I have with trading and listening to Saul is that I get engrossed in trading and I hear the sound in the background, but I'm not listening. So, I know that's 80 to 75 to 80 areas. It's been working that area for a good while now. What part of Florida? Surely not Gulf Shores, huh? Daytona, okay. My wife loves the beach. Me, not so much anymore. Way back in my younger years, I used to be a commercial diver. So I've spent a lot of time offshore looking at the middle of nothing. And before that, growing up as a kid, we lived on surfboards. So I've eaten enough sand and beanie weenies to last me a lifetime, I think. Yeah, it's hard to believe that same intercoastal you're looking at runs right through my backyard here and runs all the way down to Mexico. Yeah. We used to go down there and surf and sleep in the dunes. We drive down there toward the back then there was no hotels and stuff on the island. There was a gas station and I think one little restaurant. That was it. And we'd go down there and then go down to the dunes at night and climb up in the dunes and throw a blanket over you and sleep in the dunes at night. About 10 years ago, I think we went back down there, and I was amazed at all the condos and the hotels that they had put up. Yeah, we did a lot. We we did camping out of necessities. We didn't have enough money to. Well, first of all, there wasn't any hotels around. Secondly, we were surfers. We didn't care. We'd sleep on the sidewalk. Yeah, all in my teens. I think I've been up and down the coast from Florida to Mexico. Sure have seen a lot of changes through the years. You're most welcome, Maureen. You take care. Have a great weekend. Guys, I'm going to be around. I'll just be in the background for a little bit.
And yes, a great shout out and thank you to Don for stepping in a little bit for Sol today. We're here on a daily basis, live from the undisclosed location because of the pandemic. Usually it's from the trading pits in Chicago, where Sol has his private booth overlooking the pits. He still has his booth there. I think it's probably covered with a sheet or something because of the pandemic. Hey, Norbert, just let me know if you had signed up for Sol's monthly. I think you had. I tried to reach out to you earlier. Richard S., the same. James C, I believe you have also. Just let me know back in chat. Use the chat feature to respond. Candy, let me know if you're okay and you're having an issue signing up. Just want to make sure everybody is getting what they're looking for. And Harvey G, you just let me know, Harvey. I'll be in the background. Right now it's 12:17. If you're coming in on the outside, come in the inside. Join us live in Zoom. You can do that by going to pitiq.tv. That's PITIQ.tv.